Welcome everybody. Today's video finds us over here on the Pa Sak River. We're right over here by Ayutthaya, and I came over here to take a look at this. This is Wat Ko Kaeo, I think is how you say it. It's the island, or the temple of the Crystal Island. And we're gonna check this out. Now this isn't a super old temple. It's only early Bangkok era, so it was probably built during the reign of King Rama I, so right at the end of the 18th century. This temple grounds, though, has some importance to the Thais, and we'll walk around and I'll tell you a little bit about it. So let's go take a look at this temple and see what it's like. So you can see right here, people come over and they feed the fish, and this is the Pa Sak River. That's the bridge that leads you into Ayutthaya. That's the island of Ayutthaya over there. And there's another temple right across the way. And you can see this is kind of a cool area. I really like coming onto the island here. Right over there, that's a really famous temple. Has a humongous Buddha and a Chinese shrine. And that's kind of the confluence where the Pa Sak River runs into the Chao Phraya. You can see all the water hyacinths and all that. So let's go into the temple and we'll look around. So just back away from the river, there's the temple grounds, and it's quite nice. They have all these trees, so it kind of gives it a like a peaceful feeling when you come in here. You have meditation places, the monk quarters, and they have a coffee shop and stuff like that down on the river. But most of the stuff is up underneath these trees, and in Ayutthaya, it gets so hot here that it's pretty nice to have this shade. Now this was the Crystal Island. It was surrounded by two canals that they kind of extended. They learned their lesson after the first war with Ayutthaya, the White Elephant War, and they identified this area as a weak point. So there was the little canal that came, and they widened the canal out. The people got together from like Singbury, Inbury, Phetchaburi. They identified it as kind of a weak point, so they extended the moat and they made it bigger. And then when the second Ayutthaya battle happened in the 1760s, the Burmese built earthworks over here. One of the Burmese commanders built earthworks that led all the way over here to this Crystal Island. And they were able to capture this island, and this was kind of the key point. Once they captured this, they were able to push the Siamese soldiers back, and they were able to capture the island and capture the city. And then what's important here, we're looking at, this is a shrine for King Taksin. And King Taksin, he rounded up his men and he escaped in what, I can't remember what it was, 1766 or something like that. He escaped the island of Ayutthaya, and he later came back, rounded up some forces, came back and recaptured Ayutthaya from the Burmese. So this is inside here. So this is the King Taksin shrine. And he's very important to the Thais. So they have all the normal stuff that you see. Now with King Taksin shrines, you'll always see these little swords. Now Taksin, he went over to the far east and over to Chantaburi, and that's where he gathered his forces up. And then he came back over here and he recaptured Ayutthaya. There was a garrison force here in the city, and he was able to beat them. And then he realized that Ayutthaya, the Burmese knew all the weak points, so there was no real reason to rebuild the city, so he moved the capital from here to Thonburi. After Taksin moved the capital over to Thonburi, that was the capital, and he was the only king of the Thonburi era. I think he was the king for like 16 or 18 years or something like that before he was overthrown by Rama I. I have no idea what this is doing over here. They have a big picture of a Khmer temple. Maybe there was an old Khmer temple somewhere over here at one point. You can see here, these are laterite stones. So they were used at some point, probably by the Khmer. And we'll look inside of this hall here. So Rama I, after he took over, he moved the capital from Thonburi across the river into where it is now in Bangkok. So this is the ordination hall. Pretty nice styling. Looks like, I think this says like close the door. So this is inside of the hall. We have the speakers playing the sermon. Now this is an active temple, so there are the monks. So it looks like they're adding some murals in here. That looks like it's pretty new. And then you have the scenes of the life of the Buddha, the Jataka. Most of the time there will be like the 12 scenes inside of these halls. And then this is the main image. Yeah, this is where the monks will come over and do their chanting ceremonies in the evening and in the morning. Plus the new monks, the novice monks, they'll come in here and do the ceremony. Now what is cool about that mural, you can see it's the Buddha, and then they have the monkey and the elephant giving it the alms donation, which is a pretty common Buddha you'll see, but it's kind of nice with it being painted. And then here you have like the war elephants and some of the other stuff. Yeah, the styling here of the temple is quite nice. They've kind of given it like the old historical feel. You can see here where they have the bricks and they've put the ivy up, and then inside is this huge seated Buddha. And then they have a couple elephants here, and you can see kind of the Khmer styling. Yeah, I would really like to know what the significance of the Khmer styling is to this temple. And then you can see here's this massive reclining Buddha, or seated Buddha. And then they have some more of the images over here. And they got the bells for people to come over and clank on. And then right here they have a small little shrine. You can see they painted some stuff on the walls and ceiling. They have a Buddha footprint and a seated Buddha here. They have the big drum. They have a little boat with the Buddha in it. And then they have a nice little shrine here. So the Thais will come here, and you can see they've burned the candles, and they stick the joe sticks in, the little flowers, and they'll make donations here in these alms bowls and stick the gold leaf on and stuff. So this is here, and it looks like it's maybe like an old hall that they've the walls are gone. So they've came in, kept the same footprint, and then put this little building. And then they have this nice chetty that it's new. You can see how they've put the bricks around it. And then they've got the Buddha images around, the goddess of the earth here, and then the Buddha there holding the alms bowl. Yeah, it's a nice little chetty with the gold top. And then right over here, check this out. You got the sleepiest little cat. He's down over here, hanging out. Found a good spot. Now, this doesn't have anything to do with the temple right here, but this is kind of cool looking. So this tree is grown, and you can see the roots have followed the cracks in the bricks. It's kind of amazing how nature does its thing. You can see how they've done the arches and everything. It has kind of the lotus windows in this hall that they've built around the big seated Buddha, and you can just kind of see it through the little openings. This is going to be a new hall. Now they've already put the Buddha images in here, which you see this quite often. They'll put the Buddha images in here, and then they'll just kind of work around them. So they have the rebar sticking up, and this will be a nice place. Look at the reclining Buddha here. It has the figures carved into the base, and then all the other ones in different poses. And then the back of this one here has the Naga. It's kind of wrapped around it. Pretty neat looking. And another little kitty. Is that a good spot right there to rub? Oh, I know a kitty. Yeah, and over here, this is a place for people to buy stuff for the donations. And then over here will be a little place for the monk to set up, and he'll give out the blessings and all of that. Okay, so let's go look at one more thing over here, the old part of the temple. All right, so the eastern boundary of the temple is the railroad tracks and the road. And you can see right over there, that's the Wat Chai, which is a fantastic temple. And then there's also on the grounds of this temple, right in here, there's Wat Prasat, which has kind of been consolidated into the grounds of Wat Ko Kaeo. And this is all that's remaining, is just one little hall here. And it's kind of in a low point. They built this wall to keep it from flooding, and it still gets a little bit. But you can see how it looks. So this would have had a porch around the outside, and then it would have had, looks like 3 windows on each side. And there's not a whole lot left here. You can see the styling of how it was built, and it would have been kind of shaped like a boat, like the late Ayutthaya style. And I don't know if they had a prong here or a jetty or anything like that. I'm sure they did, but all that's left is just this one little hall. There's still a little bit of the styling in the plaster up there. It has front and back doors, and it's just right here. There's people's houses parked, and then they park their motorcycles up here on the bricks of the temple. And then this would have been a pretty good sized hall. It has 3 doors there, 3 windows, and the walls were very, very thick. And then it just has now a seated Buddha. And then there's quite a bit of plaster on this back wall. But all 4 walls are here. It's just missing the roof. You see how it looks from this side over here. Yeah, that's a nice enough little hall. It's just another abandoned ruin. And all the other stuff over here for Wat Ko Kaeo is all much newer than this. Even though this house here looks like it is about as old as the temple. So that's going to finish up our video over here at Wat Ko Kaeo, or the Temple of the Crystal Island. It's an active temple, and it looks like it's quite prosperous. They're doing a lot of new construction. It's a nice place. It's quiet, kind of serene. The trees and everything really makes it pretty quiet, and you know, it's not as hot. It feels pretty good. And it's not too far away from some of the other stuff. I mean, you're right here on the Pa Sak River, and it's an easy bicycle ride or a motorcycle ride from the train station if you come into Ayutthaya that way. So if you're over here in this area, like if you're going over to Wat Chai or one of the other ruins over here or other temples, you can stop in, take a quick look around, and see what it looks like. So hopefully you enjoyed the video. If you did, make sure you smash like, subscribe to the channel. Let me know in a comment what you think, if you've been here or if you have any questions or if you know anything more than what I told you. Let me know in a comment down below. But anyway, from over here in Ayutthaya, remember, life is a journey. Until next time, enjoy.